We all think of our home as this safe haven, right? Our personal castle. But what if I told you there's a secret war being fought right inside your walls every single day? It's a battle for your comfort, pitting your home's tech against the world right outside your door. So, have you ever asked yourself this exact question? I mean, you fiddle with the thermostat, you get the temperature technically right, but something's just not comfortable. Feels sticky, maybe? Or you've got that one room that's basically an Arctic tundra while another is a sauna. It's maddening, and trust me, you are not alone in feeling that frustration.
Well, the answer isn't just about your AC unit needing a tune-up. No, it goes deeper than that. The culprit is an invisible enemy, and the battlefield is literally your house and your yard. We're talking about a full-on fight against your local climate, the dirt your house is built on, and, yeah, even those pretty trees in your backyard.
All right, to really get a handle on this, we're going to zoom in on one specific place. That is basically the ultimate stress test for any air conditioner, Kingwood, Texas. Think of it as a perfect storm for your HVAC system. What's happening down there is a supercharged version of what a lot of us deal with every day.
So here's the fundamental problem, right? Most of the HVAC systems out there are kind of built for this generic, average climate, a one-size-fits-all approach. But Kingwood, its environment is anything but generic. It's a specialist. It's an expert in making AC units miserable, and it is actively waging war on that standard, off-the-shelf technology. So what exactly makes Kingwood such a nightmare for an AC unit? Well, it's not just one thing. It's a whole cocktail of environmental factors that come together to create this perfect storm. Let's meet the culprits, shall we? Okay, culprit number one, the humidity. And I don't mean just a little sticky. We are talking 90% humidity for 7 months out of the year. Because it's sandwiched between a lake, a river, and a dense forest, Kingwood basically lives in what's called a humidity pocket. It's like walking around in a giant, hot, wet sponge that you can never, ever escape.
And then you pile on the heat. We're not just talking about the number on the thermometer. We're talking about the heat index, what it actually feels like on your skin. And that number regularly climbs past 110 degrees. That kind of brutal heat forces AC units to run non-stop, sometimes for 18 hours a day. Just think about that. That's a marathon, not a sprint.
And here's the thing, these environmental villains don't take turns. They attack all at once. It's a team effort. You've got that intense humidity, which is just perfect for growing mold inside your ductwork and corroding all the delicate electrical parts. Then there's the ground itself. This Beaumont clay soil shifts and moves, cracking your home's foundation and literally ripping your underground ducts apart. Add to that the huge tree canopy dropping leaves and pine needles year-round, choking the life out of your outdoor unit. And for the grand finale, salty air from the Gulf Coast gets carried in by storms, basically fast-forwarding the rust and corrosion on all your equipment. It's a total all-out assault.
Okay, so when your poor AC system is getting hammered from 4 different directions, how does it cry for help? What are the signs that it's losing the battle? These are things that a lot of people might just write off as, normal AC problems. But in a place like Kingwood, they are red alerts that the system is on the verge of total collapse.
Now let's see. Does any of this sound familiar to you? An AC blowing warm air, that's the obvious one, of course. But what about the sneakier symptoms? Like your house feeling sticky and damp even when the thermostat says it's cool, or your energy bills suddenly going through the roof. How about the system constantly kicking on and off? These aren't just annoyances. They're distress signals. They're warning signs. And this is one of the biggest, most expensive problems that people don't even see. Remember that shifting clay soil we mentioned? Well, it's absolutely brutal on ductwork. In a lot of the older homes in Kingwood, a staggering 30% of the cool air that you are paying good money for never even makes it into your living room. It's just being dumped straight into the attic. Imagine taking 1/3 of the money you spent on cooling and just lighting it on fire. That's what's happening. So, this leads us to a really, really important idea called short cycling. Now, common sense tells you bigger is better, right? A more powerful AC has to be a good thing. Nope, not here. It's actually the opposite. In a superhumid place, an oversized AC is your enemy. It blasts cold air, hits the target temperature way too fast, and then shuts off. But here's the catch. It never ran long enough to do its other crucial job, which is to pull all that sticky moisture out of the air. The result? That horrible, cool but clammy feeling. What you actually need is a perfectly right-sized system that runs longer, smoother cycles to knock out both the heat and the humidity. All right, so the environment is basically hostile, and your standard issue equipment is waving the white flag. You can't just throw a bigger, more powerful unit at this. That's not going to work. This problem calls for a much smarter defense, one that's built on science and engineering and a real deep knowledge of the local climate.
So, the cornerstone of any real solution is something called a manual J-load calculation. I know it sounds super technical and boring, but just think of it like this. It's the official engineering blueprint for your home's comfort. Instead of just guessing based on square footage, this process looks at everything: your windows, your insulation, how much air leaks in, local humidity, to figure out the exact heating and cooling system your house actually needs. No guesswork.
But here's the kicker, and this is where that local knowledge becomes absolutely critical. You can't just run a standard, out-of-the-box manual J calculation in a place like Kingwood. It'll fail. The formula itself has to be modified, tweaked specifically to factor in that insane humidity load. If you skip that step, even a brand new, expensive system is set up to fail right from the start.
So the right way to fix this for good is a clear step-by-step process. First, an expert actually comes out and diagnoses the real root of the problem, using tests and data, not just eyeballing it. Step 2, they give you a clear plan and an upfront price, no surprises. And finally, after the repair is done, they don't just pack up and leave. They test and verify that the system is actually working the way it's supposed to. It's about science, not guesswork.
Okay, so look, Kingwood is definitely an extreme case, but the lessons we can learn from this crazy HVAC battleground, they're for everybody. Seriously, they apply to any homeowner anywhere who just wants their house to be comfortable without going broke on energy bills.
This quote from an expert really says it all, doesn't it? Kingwood's 90% summer humidity requires HVAC systems designed for moisture removal, not just cooling. That's the key. Your AC has 2 jobs to do. Job 1, make it cool. Job 2, make it dry. A lot of the time, we only focus on job 1, and that is a recipe for disaster in a lot of climates.
So, when you boil it all down, the main lesson is actually pretty simple. There is no such thing as a one-size-fits-all solution when it comes to home comfort. Your home's technology, your AC, your heating, it has to be custom-built for your home's unique environment. The system that works perfectly in Phoenix will be an absolute catastrophe in Florida.
And that brings us to the final, big question. A question for you to really think about. Take a second and consider where you live. The heat, the humidity, the trees, whatever your local challenges are. Is it possible that your home's HVAC system is out there every day fighting a battle that it was simply never designed to win?